I have a nomadic spirit and I have a nomadic genealogy or DNA. And first of all, I'm a Nana. So combining those two things, I am intending to. Hey y'all, salam, peace. I am the Nomad Nana. Welcome to my channel. Salam, peace. Hey y'all, what's going on? Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I am the Nomad Nana. That is two things together that I kind of want you to understand in terms of what's going to happen on this channel, inshallah. First of all, I'm a Nana, like literally. I have 6 grandchildren, 5 of them boys, 4 of them cancers. And since I've lived abroad the last 6 years, I don't get to interact with them as much as I used to and as much as I would like to. But we live in the age of technology, and all of them were born in the age of technology. So they have a much more integrated and fluid kind of relationship with it than I, and what a baby boomer might have. But as the debates about AR get going, and the debates are interesting because it causes us as humans to think, but I'm going to tell you, y'all, it's a done deal. It's a done deal. But as the debates go on, one of the things that I have understood, because I took a short course, why not? I'm, who I am. One of the things that I have understood is when you generate data that you put out there into the cyberspace, the AI has the ability to work with that data in order to help with the algorithms that sort of determine what kinds of things the promotional people will kind of send at you, and at the same time to kind of construct a virtual identity. Now, I did things virtually as a continuation of my profession. I'm a retired university professor of religious studies, Islamic studies, Islamic feminist studies, and I also had a very exciting opportunity to engage in activism for human rights and intersectional projections of identity regarding areas of gender, sexuality, Islam, race, age, ableism, and the like. So I've created a lot of content within my post-professional retirement scenario. And I was just so serious about all of it, even if I tried to kind of like be flippant. And I realized as I get older and older by the minute that I really didn't invest in having fun with this cyber reality. But at the same time, especially since I retired, I've been having a lot of fun. I mean, I retired to a tropical island. And I will talk more about that, of course, as time goes on, because it's, part of the story. But I thought I could simultaneously leave breadcrumbs of information about who I am for my grandchildren. They may or may not ever discover it, or they may discover it while I'm still alive or not. But I figured that I was going to create a living archive, like, WTF are you doing now? And since I do some really fun stuff, like at the age of 70, I got certified to dive. I've been diving now 4 or 5 times. I love under the sea. some amazing photos and videos. I thought I would share some of the stuff that I'm actually doing actively in my practice of retirement. I had to practice because I'm a workaholic. But also, I would kind of do a narrative occasionally about sort of my worldview as I came into this particular YouTube idea. And that way, I will be narrating my own story with regard to even my professional relationships, but I'm not doing that first. First, I'm just going to do the fun stuff. And then after that, I'll just occasionally, take the opportunity to talk about something that happened in my very exciting, interesting life. So that's the Nana part. I'm a Nana for real. And Nana is the choice name of the maternal grandmother that comes from my family. I called my mom's mom Nana. My kids called my mom Nana. So I prefer Nana over all the other wonderful and endearing ways in which people kind of refer to their female parent. Yeah, I love the word Nana, and it's used more in certain parts of the English-speaking world. And interestingly enough, since I live in Indonesia, the word for grandmother in bahasa Indonesia is nenek. So it is really close to what they use here. Travel in around 60 countries. So, in the world, I'm a little Nana, but also I have metaphor intentionally. What I love traveling. The other part, of course, I have lived in 6 different countries. And in addition to living in my native United States, I have lived several times in Southeast Asia and several times in parts of Africa, especially North Africa. So I kind of resonate with the fact that I have my Mars and my moon in the sign of Sagittarius, which, if you kind of want to characterize the different configurations of the stars a certain way, Sagittarius would be the traveler. It's sort of the one that loves to seek knowledge through going someplace. And for me, not just going to that place, but being in that place, making a life, learning how to, buy bread, how to say it when you go to the market and stuff. So I do have little smitterings of several languages. I also have some languages pretty intensely because of study and research. So I am a world traveler. Now, the thing about me choosing the term nomad, not only because it begins with the same letter as Nana, but also because I descend from nomadic people in the north and western parts of Africa. I also descend from European people, but like most African Americans, I don't dwell on that because nobody know how that mixture might have come about. Sometimes people do. And so this thing about the nomadic life is you can learn, you can adapt to many different situations based on what's available in that situation, and you can proceed with your livelihood in that place. So I have a nomadic spirit, and I have a nomadic genealogy or DNA. So combining those two things, I am intending to have this channel allow me to provide some of the interesting things that I do in places that I go, but also some of the information that people might need when they themselves try to leave the place of their birth and go to a short visit or long visit, relocate as an expat, etc. So I'm going to also include some of the technical stuff that goes along with that. And based on what I have experienced, I will try to provide details that might help someone else in making their journey to visit the earth. In Islam, we have, this motivation from the Quran to travel to the earth, throughout the earth, to see, not only see what was the history, but also, see what is the present reality on this planet. And, again, Sagittarius, Moon, and Mars. With the Moon, I am emotionally motivated and excited about travel. And with the Mars, I put some energy into it. That's my, novice reading of the astrology. So it has been a major feature of my life. Coincidentally, I am one of 8 children. And in my nuclear family, mom, dad, and us 8 kids, us 10 people, only 2 of them ever traveled outside of the United States, except for me, and both of them went to a war. So my dad went to the Korean War, and my brother went to the war in Vietnam. So I'm the one who has traveled peacefully, traveled for peace, traveled for knowledge, traveled to share knowledge, traveled to experience, the world. And I used to tell people that, many of my family members never even had a passport. And I said, but that's okay, because I took their miles and I put it on my passport. So I feel like in a lot of ways, I was destined to travel, no matter my humble origins and no matter the incongruence of that experience with my birth family. So, like a few, like my children, they've lived abroad and they continue to travel and also to live abroad. But if you didn't come from a family that did any of that, it just kind of like wasn't their forte, how do you get my version of it, right? So in a lot of ways, I think that I do have kind of, a fulfillment of a cosmic destiny to travel throughout the earth and to see the beauty. Obviously, when you travel, there are also some challenges. Some things can be pretty persnickety, but these days when people say to me, how was your flight? I basically say, as long as the plane didn't drop out of the sky, we're good. I have experienced so many different things when I have traveled that I no longer rank the flying experience on the basis of some category of good or bad that, focuses on something that, is important to a person for various reasons as they travel. I'm like, you know what? It's good. I got it. I'm here. May have taken me extra day, may have whatever, but the plane did not drop out of the sky, and that does happen. So we're good. And so it is a learned response. I've learned to make that response based on the fact that, oh my God, there are just like thousands of planes going every day. And some of them have experienced some weird things. So guess what? Mine made it. So we're good. But I think also sharing like some of the kinds of challenges and some of the ways, to sort of deal with it, I think is something of interest that I'll share because, yeah, I'm a nomad. What I would like from you is like this video, any other ones that you see that are, on my channel, subscribe to the channel. As you know, it won't cost you anything. And it just allows you to kind of like keep up with things that I'm doing, especially if you hit the notification, because I will also be doing some live events because it's the time. I mean, I don't always have to record them and then, give you timestamps so you kind of know what's going on with them and that kind of thing. But, I'll do that too. The other thing is please share if you know someone who is interested in the kinds of things that, I will be providing. It helps if you let them know that, you saw something. I did mention, by the by, that I'm a retired academic. It's so hard to retire from academia, especially if, your mind works a certain way and, you're connected to certain people. I have so many friends and colleagues, and I've been at so many universities at different places in the world, and I still find it fascinating. But because it's so hard to retire, to be honest, I'm almost 20 years retired, and at the same time, like 2 years ago, I just completed another set of contracts with two universities here. So, like, you just keep going back for more. And I especially think that part of what I'm doing, even though it's not self-evident in the title, Nomad Nana, part of what I'm doing is reminding my academic colleagues, sister and brother and others, to take advantage of the fact that you do have some facility with retirement. You can continue to do publications, university visits, and all that, but then you kind of diffuse the stress of academia and have a chance to really kind of live a life that isn't dictated by the academy. I lived that life for so long. Obviously, when I start school at the age of 4, I began that schedule that goes in the US, September is beginning of school, maybe late August, whatever. And then, the summer begins, in June. That was just like downloaded onto my brain, and it stayed there forever because I went from elementary to middle to high school, where at 14, I had an interesting experience to expand my knowledge by going to high school in a totally different place from the one that my family inhabited. And I started university at 17, and eventually I came back to teach in the university. So in a way, my whole year was determined by a calendar that suits a number of things that, go with the organization of academic study, but it didn't necessarily correspond to a lot of other things, like the sun or moon cycles or whatever. So, you could get hooked by the academic world, and I'm here to remind you why it is that you want to take a decent retirement. That is, that there's life after the academy. So I'm going to share some of that, with my colleagues and friends and you, and hopefully you will give a thumbs up, share, subscribe, and even hit the notification bell. Although I want to tell you, from the moment that I'm recording this, I'm not really sure what that is, but at some point, hopefully I'll learn, and then I'll know. So hope to see you again here in this spot. Also, let me know in the comment section if there's particular topics that you hope that I would cover, or questions that you have, or experiences that you yourself have had as an expat or a nomad that you just want to be in chat with me about. So I look forward to hearing from you, and also to see you again in this spot sometime soon.